Good morning. Thank you for coming to the Liberty Blue Jay press conference, and we're here to talk a little Blue Jay football this morning. We'll go ahead and open it up for some questions.
Just talk about the win on Friday.
Great. Last Friday night we played down at North Kansas City High School against Winnetonka and had a 35-0 win, and came away real pleased with it for being our first game. At the same time, came away with a long list of things we feel like we need to get better at. Even though with the score being what it was, we have some things that we're focusing on this week going into Ray Peck, and some players that we're kind of shuffling around and moving around and just trying to see how much we can improve before this next Friday night.
Who really stepped up during your game on Friday?
I think you have to start with their defense, and when you look at Winnetonka, they have 2 Division I running backs and very, very talented, skilled players. And our defense had a shutout. They had twice, Winnetonka had the ball down in our territory where they got turnovers. One interception by Irvin Leonard in the end zone that he returned out, and then a fumble recovery by Josh Scheibel, and that really kept them out of the end zone. So, and both of those were set up by turnovers that were done by one by our special teams, one by our offense. So I really, starting with our defense, I thought they stepped up and did really well. Alex Jimenez had another big interception on a play. So we ended up getting 4 turnovers, and that's big. One of them being a block punt, and doing that. Offensively, we went into our season hoping to become more balanced, and we were right around 60-40 in run pass, which we were pleased with, and that was a big step in the right direction, and ran the ball well, and were able to pass and stretch the field when we needed to.
You said you're going to shuffle people around a little bit more. Can you just explain what you mean?
Well, I think just looking at, we're always trying to find the best combinations of getting people on the field, and whether that be through sets or different formations that we'll do. But all in all, we were pretty pleased with how people played, and just trying to get guys in positions where they can be successful on the field. Yes.
Moving forward, do you think that quarterback battle is going to be an open competition, or are you going to be locked in with who you have right now?
Well, we were pleased with how AJ played last week, and we looked at, I think he was 10 for 22 on his on the stats, and which we'd like that to be a little bit higher. There's 3 or 4 drops and 3 or 4 not very good balls, with that. So, but all in all, we were pleased with the production that we had out of our passing game and some of the things that we did with that. But yeah, just like all of our positions, we let them all go open competition, and we're always trying to prepare whoever's not in line to, so they can step up and make that person in front of them better or beat them out. And that's just the way we try to run them with all of our positions, not just quarterback. Yes.
Overall, how did you think the game went on Friday?
Well, I was very pleased. I mean, anytime you can open the season with that kind of win and on Metro Sports, but I was pleased with the outcome of how it went. I think one of the neatest thing was just the environment down at the school, that the Winnetonka side was packed and our stands were packed. It was standing room only, and it was really an electric atmosphere for an opening night. I think some of that's being on TV, some of it's being, 2 Northland teams that were, had some accolades or some good expectations going into this season. Winnetonka is a very good football team, and I think all that led to it being a really neat night for our program and for all the kids that played in it.
Can you talk a little bit about the military appreciation night?
You bet. Winnetonka did a military appreciation night this past Friday, and really they did a couple different things with it. It was just an awesome deal. They recognized different veterans and really people that were related to the programs of Winnetonka and Liberty throughout the game. They had some that were involved in the national anthem and the color guard at the beginning. They had a flyover with the national anthem it was just awesome. It was it was a little bit later, it was right when the sun was going down. It was really neat. And then on the other side of this, both programs raised money, and I think it was close to $3,000 they raised and donated to the Wounded Warrior Project. And I know at Liberty High School we had 250 shirts that were donated by Climate Control that we sold we sold all 250 of them, and had a sum of money from those that we sold that we went ahead and donated into the same deal that they did. So really proud of our students and our team for doing that, and just a great way to recognize and honor our military. Yes.
After such a big win, even against a good team, what do you tell the guys after that in order to keep them humble?
Well, I think one of it, they look at the way our schedule's been set up for years. We play a lot of good teams, and this week's no different. That they look on the horizon. They have Ray Peck, who's ranked 7th in the state in the state rankings. They won 62-14 their first week. So very, very good Ray Peck team is right there. And a team that beat us last year on the last play of the game. So I think that we're not going to have any trouble getting our kids focused and ready to go for this upcoming week. They understand the team that's ahead of them. We had a good practice yesterday on Labor Day, and are hoping to be able to go down there and play better than we did last Friday. And so it's got a couple things with it. It's a league. It's our first league game, so we know it's really important for us to do that. It's also a district game, of course, so it's going to be a big game for us Friday night. Yes?
Is there anything in particular about Ray Peck that you're going to be focusing on for your game plan?
Well, I think you look at Ray Peck, offensively, they're very sound. They have returning guys on their line, and then they have a receiver / tight end, number 5, that's committed to Iowa State, 6'6", 220. He had 5 catches in the first half against Belton before they really quit throwing the football, and just a dynamic player. And we know, along with him, they have number 30, Brown, who's a returning running back who really gave us some fits last year. And so we know that offensively they're going to be very good. Defensively, they have a number of all-conference type players coming back. And safety number 3, Zeifel, I think is his last name, has been a 3-year starter for them. He's just an outstanding player, tackler, and gives teams a lot of trouble. So those are some of the things that we're focusing on. And, that's them with ourselves. We're going to try to increase our efficiency in the passing game. And then also, clean up some stuff. We had some penalties. We had 3 holding calls in a run game that we know we can't win games if we do that, continue to do that on that basis. So we got a long list of things we need to work on for this Friday.
Any players surprise you last week?
I think when you're talking just surprise, when you see these kids over, such a long period of time in the summer and team camps and things like that, you start getting a feel of what they're going to be, but you really don't know until that comes out on that night. And a lot of them did a lot like we thought they would. Devin Bryant gave us some spark in our run game. He had a couple, runs that were long and then some receptions. Jacoby Swanson stepped up and caught a big touchdown pass right before halftime. And really just A.J. Camrick, the way he was really calm, cool, and in control the entire game, and really other than one play made good decisions throughout the game. So we were pleased with those guys being on the field for the first time with that. We had Cole Metcalf at defensive end, really gave us some good minutes and played well. So we were pleased with them. And then, some of those guys, you kind of know what you're getting with. David Graves ran the ball extremely hard and had 150 yards. And he's done that a lot. And going into the season, he had 1,500 yards coming in, had another outstanding night. So really pleased with those guys. And our offensive line, I thought their pass protection was really well. Winnetonka did a lot of different blitzes and threw a lot of things at us, trying to get out of rhythm, and I was real pleased with how they communicated. Jacob Francis and Josh Blockley or Kean Broughton on one side, then Tyler Stiff. They were able to get those things and get them going. And then Alfonso Estrada just did an excellent job. Specifically, we pulled him a lot on our pass protection where he popped out and picked up some outside blitzers, and I thought that they really provided us with the timing and the things we needed to have our passing game click. Yes?
How do you feel like the JV and freshman team is going to do?
Well, I'm glad you asked about that. Our JV team played Winnetonka last night, and it was neat because it was a Labor Day game, and so a lot of parents were off work. We were able to come out. We had a huge crowd for our JV game. They won 26-6, and I got to watch most of it after practice, so it was a good time to see a good win for a lot of those guys with our JV team. Kyle Tonk played both quarterback and linebacker. He had 2 interceptions and really had a nice night. Both Brandon Sybottom and Phil Schnitz ran the ball really well. And James Harper had some big plays on defense, as he did Friday night on special teams. So there was just a lot of positives that came out of our JV team. I was glad to see some of those guys get out on the field and be able to compete. Our sophomore team and freshman teams open this Wednesday. So our sophomores travel down to Lee Summit North to play. And so we're excited to see that. We have a great group of about 42 sophomores. And a lot of them are going to get to play on that opening game. So we're pleased with that. And then our freshman team opens up at Blue Springs South that day. And Coach Grosadier has 64 freshmen that I watched them practice yesterday. They practiced right beside us. I was real pleased with how they looked, and it seems like a great group of kids. Yes?
On Friday night, your defense obviously played very well. What have you been telling those guys in order to keep them, moving forward on that great performance?
I think a lot of with our defense is they do return quite a bit of experience across the board and I think they're drawing on that experience. They are really dedicated in terms of film watching. Devin Houston is their middle backer, and just along with being a really good player. I mean, he was Conference Player of the Year last year, and we know he's got the physical abilities, but this year he has really stepped it up in terms of his preparation, logged an incredible amount of hours in films, and he's getting that ability where he can be able to see offensive sets and know characteristics of each players and things that's helping him not only call our defense and set it on the field, but just react at a quicker speed. So that's been really good. Our other linebacker, Jacob McGowan and Tanner Pendergrass, really provide some speed. They're both fast players. So I think those are things that are helping our defense quite a bit. And then Jacob Zimmerman's and Alex Jimenez being in our secondary, both of them for their second year, being able to help with the coverages and do those things, have been real big pluses for us.
Are there any injuries that we should know about?
No, we didn't have any injuries this past week. And from the week before, Brock Dorothy had injured his hand, and he's healing up good, and we expect him to be full go by the end of the week this week. So we're sitting good injury-wise. All right, yes?
How are you preparing for this week's game?
Well, I think when you look at this week's game with Ray Peck, Ray Peck, Coach Cruz has been there quite a while, and they have their system in place, and they really do it well. And it's a little different system, especially offensively, than what some other teams do. So they run really a wing tee offense, and it's something you don't see very often. They execute it very well, where there's a lot of misdirection, trying to find where the ball is and things like that. So this week, that's going to be really important that we get good reps from our scout team mimicking their offense in order to prepare us for this week. Another thing, we're really going to focus on special teams. We did some great things in the special teams game. We downed a punt at the 1. We had 2 tackles on kickoff inside the 20. Blocked a punt. Jacob Zimmerman had one of the best block punts I've ever seen in a high school game. It set up one of our scores. But at the same time, we muffed a punt and gave them the ball back. So we know there's some things that we have to improve on in our kicking game and going into this week.
How
Yeah.
does having the freshmen at the school change the dynamic of the team?
Well, I'm excited about it, really not just from our sense of team, but just from our coaches and our players to get to know those players earlier and incorporate them, what it's like to feel like on a game day at the school. It lets us to be able to see them in their classes and things like that so that we can understand who they are and what they are and get to know them a little bit earlier. And then also be able to have them in our weight training classes with, to be able to train with the older kids during class will help them gain an extra year to develop physically in our programs. Yes, one more question.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming out this morning. Thanks.